Hi, everyone. So welcome to this new class that we are in now, which is grade 3. And we'll be starting with the first topic, which is compound time signatures. Compound time signatures. And it's a very brief class, but I believe that we'll be able to kind of leverage what we have learned from grade 1 and grade 2 or to kind of understand what compound time signatures are. Our learning objectives are as follows. By the end of this class, you should be able to understand the difference between simple and compound time signature. So simple time signature is different from compound time signature, so you should be able to understand the difference. And also you should be able to interpret compound time signatures in when you see them on a musical sheet. Also, we'll talk about the role of triplets, in simple time and compound time signature. And lastly, we're going to learn how to construct compound time signatures from simple time signatures. So let's get on to it immediately. Now, what's the difference between simple time and compound time signature? You remember in grade 1 and grade 2, what you did was simple time signature. Can anybody give me an example of simple time signature? Each of you just give me, I want each of you to give me one example of simple time signature.
4/4.
4. That's how do you call that? How do you call that? How do you call
Four,
that?
four. Four,
Yeah.
four. Sorry.
Yeah. So what's the interpretation? What's the
So,
interpretation?
4 crochet beats in a bar.
4 crochet beats in a bar. Yes, thank you. Next, another person, please. The rest of you, please, can you give me one example of simple time signature as we learned it in grade 1 and grade 2?
3/4.
So how do you interpret that?
3 beats out of 4 in a bar.
3 crochet beats in a bar. Okay. All right. Next person now. Example of simple time signature.
2/4, which would be 2 crochet beats in a bar.
All right, brilliant. So we all know simple time signature. Now let's look at the difference between some of what you have just mentioned with so let's just look at some of the difference between the simple time signature and the compound time signature. All this time signature you've mentioned, when the beats divide into 2 equal notes, then it's simple time signature. Whatever your beat is, for example, if you say 4/4, the beat is crochet. If you say 3/2, the beat is 2, which is what? Minim. You can divide that minim into 2 beats, like crochet. Or if it is a crochet beat, you can divide that crochet beat into 2 quiver beats. So if you look at the time signature and the standard beats there can be divided into 2 equal notes or 2 equal beats, then eventually that is known as simple time signature. On the other hand, if the beats can divide itself into 3 equal beats, then it is known as compound time signature. So note the difference. One divides itself into 2 equal beats, the other one divides itself into 3 equal beats. Now you will want to ask me, how can a note divide itself into 3 equal beats? That is where you have dotted notes. You remember dotted notes the dot adds the value of the note the original value of the note to the note it's dotting. So that makes the note be divisible into the lower set of notes into 3 equal groups. So that means that the way we pronounce compound time signature, we use dotted notes as our standard beat. Some of you said 4 crochet beats in a bar, 3 minim beats in a bar. So you see, you are using the standard crochet or the standard minim or the standard, quiver notes. But in compound time signature, you have to use dotted notes. You have to write your time signature as dotted note. Let's look at some examples here. So here you see, what's the time signature there? 2/4. That means 2 crochet beats in a bar. But you could see that you have 1, 2, so you have 2 crochet beats. But those two, each of those 2 crochet beats can divide themselves into 2 quiver beats. So because those beats can be divided into 2 quiver beats or into 2 equal beats, then it means that that time signature is simple. On the other hand, if you look at this, you have 2 dotted crochet beats. 2 dotted crochet beats. So this is why I called it 2 dotted crochet beats in a bar. Now, each of those crochet beats can divide themselves into 3 quavers. So you see, the addition of the dots to the normal note makes it possible to divide that note into 3 equal parts, and that is where compound time comes in. So if you look at a song and you see dotted note, dotted note, dotted note, you should know this could look like a compound time signature because there are lots of dotted notes, and those dotted notes can further divide themselves into 3 equal beats. If you have questions as we progress, please feel free to interject me, stop me, and ask your questions. I'm not seeing any of you, but you can just unmute and ask a question. So you see, this is written as 6/8. Now, if I ask you to tell me what's the time signature of this, you say, oh, it's 6/8. Okay, how do you pronounce it? You say 6 quiver beats in a bar. Yes, in a way you are correct, but that's not how the way we should pronounce it. That's not how the way we should call it. All right? Yes, there are 6 quiver notes in a bar. There are 6 quavers. If you look at it, each of those dotted crochets divides themselves into 3 quavers. So you have 3 quavers, so they make up 6 quavers. So you can say 6 quiver beats, yes, in the bar. But because we want to keep to the dotted crochet, we want anybody to the dotted note, we want anybody listening, we are talking to, one those that we're talking to understand that why you have this 6/8 is because of the dotted crochet. So therefore we say 2 dotted crochets in a bar. Of course, the number is 6/8, but the interpretation is 2 dotted crochets in a bar. So don't forget that the way you write the number could be different from the way you pronounce it. So you pronounce the note, taking into cognizance the dotted beats. I think that is clear. If you have any question, please feel free to ask. All right. Now there are some confusions you need to avoid when you are dealing with compound time signature. And we're going to go through them one after the other. Number one, you should understand that we've talked about 6/8. 6/8 is not the same as 3/4. If I ask you in 3/4, how many, 3/4, there are 8 quiver beats in 3/4. If you count it, because you have 3, so this is it here. You see, you have 3 crochet beats in a bar. All right? You have 3 crochet beats in a bar. And then the other one, you have 6/8. That is 2 dotted crochet beats in a bar. If you divide them into semi-quavers, they all have 6. Sorry, if you divide them into quavers, they all end up with 6 quiver beats. But because both of them end up with 6 quiver beats, doesn't mean that they are the same. No. You can see the way it's divided. Let's start from the 6/8. The 6/8 is 2 dotted crochet beats that divide themselves into 3s. So you must think about, is the standard note dividing itself into 2s or into 3s? If it divides itself into 2s, then it is simple. If it divides itself into 3s, then it is compound. So you can see in this case of 6/8, where you have 2 dotted crochet beats dividing themselves into what? 3 quavers, giving us 6 quavers, is different from where you have 3/4. These are 3 crochet notes that divide themselves into 2s. Remember, we said that when a note divides itself into 2s, then it's simple time. It doesn't matter how many quavers or how many this. So you see, both of them end up having 6 quavers, but one set of 6 quavers is a group of 2 notes divided into 3s. The other one is a group of 3 notes divided into 2s. So please don't think that 6/8 is the same as 3/4 because both of them have a 6 quiver beats. All right. Now, the next thing is triplet is an exception. Triplet is an exception, and I want you to keep an eye on triplets. All right, because in your exam you can bring in triplet and you say, "Oh, what does?" Now, what do I mean? If you look at this, look at this. The time signature here is what? Is what? 4/4. Simple time. All right, so you see four crochet beats. So each crochet beat should divide itself naturally into 2 quiver beats to make it simple time 4/4. But now we have 2 quiver beats becoming 6 beats, sounding like 3 quiver beats because of the triplet. We did triplets in the last grade, so you may want to revisit the video if you are not sure of if you're not sure you understand what triplet means. So if you look at this, you see that triplet divides a simple time beat into 3 equal parts. Remember, that's what. So you have 2 quavers, which is 1 crochet, dividing itself into 2 quavers. But now, because of the triplets, those 2 quavers are further divided into 3 equal beats. That doesn't mean that it's compound time. It's still simple time, but the triplets makes it to sound like a compound time. So when you add a triplet to a simple time signature, it makes the simple time signature to sound like the compound time beat. That is what I talk about, mimicking a compound time beat. So you can okay, go on.
I just said okay.
Yeah. So you find out that both readings, whether these 2 readings in 4/4 and this one in 12/8, if you sing them, they will sound the same way. So somebody that doesn't, or if they will sound the same way, and somebody may even think that, oh, both of them are compound time, until he looks at the time signature, he will then find out, oh, one is 4/4, it's only because of the triplet, it's sounding like 12/8. So note that when you have a triplet, it mimics a compound time, but it is not a compound time, it is still a simple time. But in the way it sounds, the reading will look similar like what you get from compound time. Now let's go to the time couples. The time couples. Every simple time signature has an accompanying compound time. Any simple time signature, you can get it just like we talked about in your grade 2. In your grade 2, we talked about a major scale and a relative minor scale. That every major scale has a relative minor scale. In the same vein too, every simple time signature has an accompanying compound time. What you just need to do is to add a dot to the simple time signature and you get a compound time signature. Just add a dot to this. So if you say 4/4, so the standard beat is a crochet beat, right? Add a dot to that crochet beat, it becomes a compound time. That's how it works. So let's look at some example here. So you see, simple duple, 2/4, 2 crochet beats. But if I add a dot to each of those crochet beats, I will have 2 dotted crochet beads in a bar. 2 dotted. So the same thing with 3/4, the same thing with 4/4. If you add just the dot to all those notes, it becomes dotted. But now, because if you want to write the music in terms of number, then definitely you cannot be writing 2 dotted in music. You have to convert that dot to the lower note, which is quiver, in this instance. So that is why you see, so I will say 2 dotted beats, but when I'm writing it down, I will convert those dotted beats to the 3/3 notes I'm talking about, which is quiver. So it will give me 6/8. So you see that 2/4 comes from 6/8. 6/8 comes from 2/4. 3/4 gives birth to 9/8, and 4/4 produces 12/8. That is how you get compound time signature from simple time signature. But on your own, I also want you to work out some mathematical formula for converting simple time signature to compound time signature. It's very simple. If you look at it, I won't tell you do that on your own. If I give you a simple time signature, there is something you can do to the up note and to the down note, and you get, even let's say you forgot about the dot, and you just want to get the compound time, like from 2/4 to 6/8. what is the mathematical formula that will move me from 2-4, and then if I apply that formula, I will get 6-8. So you could think about that. That's just something for you to work on your spare time. Now, as we summarize, let's understand that just like we have duple, triple, and quadruple simple time signature, we also have compound duple, compound triple, compound quadruple. 2 dotted bits in a bar will give you compound double. If it is 2 dotted meaning bits, that will be what? 6-4, right? 2 dotted meaning bits is 6-4. 2 dotted crochet bits is 6-8. 2 dotted quiver bits is 6-16. So these are all compound duple. So when you see 6-4, 6-8, 6-16, they are all duple. What you just need to do is ask yourself, divide the upper notes by 3, and it will give you the 2 notes that are the standard bits. In this case, for example, if you take 6-8 and you divide 6 by 3, you get 2. You divide 8 by 2, you get 4. So you know that it is 2 dotted crochet bead. In the same vein, 3 dotted beads in a bar will give you compound triple. So if it is 3 dotted meaning, that will be 9-4. If it is 3 dotted crochet, that will give you 9-8. If it is 3 dotted quiver, it will give you 9-16. The same thing with 4 dotted beads in a bar. So I'm using beads because that bead could be dotted meaning, dotted crochet, or dotted quiver. In that case, it will give you what you have there. Sorry, there's a mistake here. The 12-4 should be 9-4. So if we have 4 dotted beads in a bar, if we have 4 dotted meaning, that will give us 12-4. Yeah, that will give us 12-4. Okay, it's not a mistake. That will give us 12-4, then we have 12-8, then 12-16 if it is 4 dotted quiver. So generally, that is all we need to know about compound time signature at this stage. So let's know that if you see the ones that I've shaded, 6, 8, 9, 8, and 12-4 are the ones we'll be considering in grade 3. We won't be looking at the other compound time signatures. So we'll only be looking at these 3 time signatures, which are all in dotted crochet. So 2 dotted crochet, 3 dotted crochet, 4 dotted crochet. That's 6, 8, 9, 8, 12, 8. Those are the time signatures we'll be considering for grade 3. And lastly, this is your assignment, which is you go to your workbook, workbook 3, and you do exercises 1 to 6, which can be found from pages 12 to 16. And that brings us to the end of today's topic. Thank you very much, and God bless you.